I'm here at Google and I typed in, what is a tariff in simple definition? A tariff is a tax on goods or services that are imported or exported across national borders.
This morning, Donald Trump is warning America's neighbors, threatening to implement 25% across-the-board tariffs on Mexico and Canada on day one if both countries, he says, don't crack down on their borders with the U.S. Trump cites a new caravan coming from Mexico with a group of hundreds of migrants, mostly from South and Central America, leaving southern Mexico last week. This Ecuadorian migrant says, we want to be on the other side before the new president of the United States takes office, as he seems quite harsh on immigrants. The president-elect blames Mexico and Canada, saying his tariffs will remain in effect until such times as drugs, in particular fentanyl, and all illegal aliens stop this invasion of our country.
Mexico has responded to Donald Trump's threat of 25% tariffs across the board by suggesting they would impose tariffs in response to Donald Trump setting off a trade war that will hurt both economies. Now, President of Mexico, President Claudia Sheinbaum, warned that Donald Trump is not going to be pacified this time around. He is dealing with a brand new president, one that will not just accept what he's doing and try to make him happy. She will counter with tariffs of her own. And she called out one industry in particular, and that is our manufacturing industry, and said this: it is unacceptable and would cause inflation and job losses in Mexico and the United States. If tariffs go up, who will it hurt? General Motors. She called out the American worker and let them know this is what you can look forward to if this man imposes the tariffs that he claims will be a miracle for you.
You want to allow drugs to come through our southern border? We're going to tariff you. You want to allow them to come through Canada? We're going to tariff you. China, if you're going to allow this stuff to get sold in our country, largely produced in China, we're going to add another 10% to your share. We are going to cost your countries, your economies. We're going to cost your businesses billions, hundreds of billions of dollars. If you think you're going to poison Americans, it's not going to happen. You're not going to destroy our youth. You're not going to destroy our society. You're not going to destroy our families. You're not going to do it. It's going to cost you. I'm going to put an end to it.
From avocados to automobiles to everyday tools, you could end up having sticker shock.
Our prices would go up. We would be paying more for every object that came from China, Mexico, Canada. Therefore, we'd have to put that on to the customer.
Debbie Kavorius owns New York City-based Columbus Hardware, which has been around for decades. Almost everything in her store is imported.
This is our hardware section. 95% of this comes from China.
And what about Canada and Mexico? What about some of those?
Some of these bulbs come from Mexico, but a lot of them come from China. But a lot of the cleaning supplies come from Mexico. That would affect your everyday customer.
The three countries targeted are America's three largest trading partners. Last year altogether, they accounted for $1.3 trillion in imported goods.
Walmart Chief Financial Officer John David Rainey warned that President-elect Trump's proposed tariffs could lead to higher prices for Walmart shoppers. Under the proposals, a universal 10% to 20% tariff would be imposed on imports from all foreign countries, and an additional 60% to 100% tariff would be imposed on imports specifically from China.
Look, you guys know me. For the last 4 years, I wake up every morning pissed off about what this administration did to the most secure border in my lifetime. Let me be clear. I worked for 6 presidents, starting with Ronald Reagan. Every president I worked for took steps to secure the border because they understood you can't have strong national security if you don't have border security. We need to know who's coming in, what's coming in, where's coming in, why it's coming, all those questions, right? No one did better than President Trump. President Trump's one badass president to secure this border at a level we've never seen before. Illegal immigration was down to a 45-year low. Illegal immigration was down between 83 and 90%. Unprecedented success. Joe Biden's the first president in the history of this nation who came into office and unsecured the border on purpose. This isn't mismanagement. This isn't incompetence. This is by design. So the first morning I woke up with a smile on my face was the day after the election when President Trump won. Because he's going to come back, he's going to finish the job he started. It's a shame we have other governors and other mayors who are right out of the gate. I said they're going to push back on President Trump and what we're trying to do, especially for interior enforcement. Let me be clear. There is going to be a mass deportation. because we just finished a mass illegal immigration crisis on the border, where anybody can look at 9 out of 10 people claim asylum at the border will end up with an order removal. So you can't ask for the right to claim asylum, the right to see a judge, the right to due process, and we give you that due process, and at the end of that due process, a federal judge orders you removed, we have to remove them. Because look, me and the Denver mayor, we agree on one thing. He's willing to go to jail. I'm willing to put him in jail. Because there's a statute, it's Title 8 United States Code 1324 III, and what it says is, it's a felony if you knowingly harbor and conceal an illegal alien from immigration authorities. It's also a felony to impede a federal law enforcement officer. So if we don't want to help, that's fine. He can get the hell out of the way. But we're going to go do the job. President Trump has a mandate for American people. We got to secure this country. We got to save American lives.
Governor Greg Abbott is installing even more giant buoys in the Rio Grande to keep illegal migrants from crossing the river and coming into the country, saying we won't back down from our mission to deter and repel illegal immigration. The floating barrier was initially installed in 2023. However, the Biden-Harris administration decided to sue the state, trying to force Governor Abbott to remove the bright orange barrier.
We have some huge breaking news right now. A Texas land commissioner is offering the federal government, and specifically Donald Trump, thousands of acres of land in Texas owned by the Texas state government to build mass deportation camps. So the Texas land commissioner at issue, Dawn Buckingham, wrote a letter saying that she will offer 1,400 acres to the Trump administration to build mass deportation camps. And now she's amending that offer to saying she'll be open to giving even more land.
Hey everybody, it's Chip Roy from Texas 21, and I'm down here in Rio Grande City with a bunch of my friends from across the state of Texas, including Land Commissioner Dawn Buckingham, who today announced she's making all of the Texas lands available that are under her purview to facilitate President Trump in ensuring that we can engage in deportations, while we're also using lands to build wall like you see behind me. We've got to do our job. I was talking to Border Patrol today. They were ready to retire if Kamala Harris had won. Instead, they're thanking the good Lord this Thanksgiving week that we have help coming in January. President Trump will do the job. Tom Homan, who's with Governor Abbott today, he will do the job as borders are.
We have some huge breaking news this morning. Texas construction companies are sounding the alarm over Donald Trump's mass deportation plan, saying that if this deportation plan were to occur, Texas construction companies could lose thousands of their workers. Folks, it's an open secret that despite the fact that Greg Abbott and Texas's top leadership is severely anti-immigrant, the state's construction company relies on undocumented labor to perform its work. In the construction industry in America right now, there are about 500,000 immigrants who work. Of those 500,000, about 60% are undocumented. And according to some of Houston's biggest CEOs, if Trump were to start deporting individuals left and right, you would lose housing in Texas.
I would say to the Hispanic and Mexican community, what you got to do now, hook up with the black community and unite in political power, because if Mexicans and black people unite in Texas, we can control the governor, we can control the lieutenant governor, and we can control politics in Texas, period. I'm saying to the Latino brothers and sisters, don't fight them by yourself. If you hook up with black people and we unite, I'm telling you, we can run Texas and then pass laws to deal with those who hate us.
You're advocating for criminal activity, Cornell. These people are not here lawfully. They need to do what our ancestors did, what many Mexicans have done. Don't interrupt me.
Your ancestors came here illegally. Wasn't nothing legal about your ancestors. They came illegally and they murdered, they raped, they pillaged a whole race of people. This country, Texas, Arizona, California, belongs to Mexicans.
Well, get back
it was stolen from them.
You tell me to get back to the point.
They came here.
No, you're not being fair to me here.
Daniel 10 and 5. Then I lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, a certain man clothed in linen, whose loins were girded with fine gold of Uphaz. Daniel 10 and 6. His body also was like the beryl, and his face as the appearance of lightning, and his eyes as lamps of fire, and his arms and his feet like in color to polished brass, and the voice of his words like the voice of a multitude.